I built a cold email machine that can print 50K a month from roofing leads without spending a dime on ads. And the cool part is I'm going to show you exactly how to copy this machine, install it in your business, and start making $600,000 a year or more with a high-ticket B2B service offer. And we're going to start with a very painful part of business, which is after you get a lead, what happens to it? Does it sit inside of your CRM, or do you follow up and do you close it as a deal? So we're going to be putting together a home service business appointment setting machine. As home service businesses spend a ton of money on leads. Leads can be anywhere from $100 to $500 just for the name, depending on the service. And if these leads sit around too long, then they go to waste. In 45 minutes, I mapped everything out. I've got a full cold email system that is selling this service, and I'm going to show you how to set everything up. And if this works, it is a 50K a month sales machine for the roofing industry. And this is the exact system that we are using right now to turn dead leads into 50K, 100K extra without spending more on ads. Okay, so typical process here for business, you've got a lead that comes in, then you need to convert it into a sale. And then once you get paid, you start fulfillment. And so there's kind of two parallels here. We've got the offer that we're running with cold email. So cold email, and we are going to get the leads. I'm going to show you how to set up the system. Then we're going to talk about the sales process. And then later on, I will show you the infrastructure and the systems that you can use to automate fulfillment for this service so that this doesn't become a business that you have to babysit with managing customers and turning it into an agency. We're going to productize 90+% of it, and we're going to set up systems and processes so that it's very low lift fulfillment and very high profit. So from a roofing standpoint, they have the same kind of thing. So they're going to be spending anywhere from $50 to like $500 on these leads. And if they let them sit, then they're not getting the deal. And that means they're wasting a ton of money here and not getting enough sales. So what we're going to do is we're going to sell them a system that sits right here in the process. So our system here is going to be an infinite revenue generator. We're going to be selling them something that runs on autopilot. They don't have to manage it. They don't have to train it. They don't have to think about it. They just pay for it. And we follow up with all their leads and we get them booked in for sales conversations. So for roofing, I would imagine they're going to be doing estimates. So what we're going to be doing is setting up an offer that helps them get more estimates for less ad spend and utilize the high profit of using systems, automations, and AI to do just that. So here's the plan. Pretty simple 50K MRR plan. We're going to be sourcing 1,500 roofing companies, spending 10K a month on ads. We're going to be using Apollo. We're going to be using Apify. We're going to go through some scraping. We're going to get these leads for under $3.18 versus $30 to $50 per lead on Facebook. So this is going to be super cost effective to build our cold email machine. Then we're going to write a 3 email sequence optimized to get replies. So we're not even going to be focusing on clicks or anything like that. We just want to get enough replies. And then we're going to use instantly and pre-warmed inboxes to launch everything in under an hour. Okay, so I'm going to show you the key things that you need to know, and people will overcomplicate cold email. Like basically what we're doing is we're getting a list of leads. We're coming up with a creative solution to a painful problem, meaning you're spending over $100,000 a year on ads to get leads, and those leads aren't converting to sales. What if we came in and we doubled the amount of appointments you got from the existing amount of ad spend? Then you would make a ton more money and you'd be a ton more profitable. And so that is why we are here to help the company actually get more results from what they are spending already. So then what we're going to do is we're going to use that to generate responses, and they're going to reply back, and then we're going to turn that into our own sales call, and then a percentage will close and go into fulfillment. So let me just kind of map that out so that we have kind of a cleared roadmap. I know on the bottom we've got kind of the roofing industry, their sales process, our sales process is going to mirror that. So we're going to be scraping leads. We're going to use Apollo and Apify, and I'll show you how to get that set up really fast because there's kind of just the 80-20 you need to know. And then we're going to get replies, and then a percentage, like our goal for replies is we're looking at 5% reply rate, and then we're going to get about, the target would be about 50% appointments, and then we've got a 30% close rate, then we go into fulfillment. So these are going to be the steps for sales. This is the step for leads, and then fulfillment. So we're going to set it up like this so that it's productized. So that's basically the plan. Now, the 50K MRR is we are selling, let me put that up here. We are selling a $10,000 service with the goal of helping them add, 50K to 100K in revenue. So we are helping them 5 to 10 times their money with us. And so we're going to be pricing it based on the value we provide the roofers, not necessarily based on anything else. So we're not going to do like a cost plus markup. We're going to be doing a value-based pricing model. Okay. And so with that being said, we just need 5 clients to make 50K a month. And this is sticky because they're always going to be having leads come in. And our job is to convert leads into sales for them on autopilot. So into basically sales appointments, estimates, consults, etc. So that's kind of the high level game plan. So just kind of walking through this, we've got 500 leads. What I like to do is get like a test batch of leads just to make sure the messaging is good. So 500 leads, 5% reply, that's 25 replies, about 10 to 12 booked calls. That would be 3 to 4 sales times 10K a month. You're at 30K a month times 3. That's 90K a month. And this is $1 million back end that we are building right now. So I'm going to break this down into 2 key parts. The first part is lead sourcing. Then I'm going to walk you through the actual campaign setup. And then we're going to talk about the go live. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at lead sourcing. So the first tool you're going to need is this tool called Apollo. And Apollo is a directory basically of where you can find sales leads. So you'll just sign up. I'm going to log in here and I'm going to show you the fields that you're going to need. And you can do this with any industry. We've already mapped out what we're looking for. So when you're doing lead sourcing, one of the most important things to know is who you're targeting, okay? And so I've decided that we are targeting roofing. They need to be doing 7 figures. That usually means 11 to 50 employees, okay? So that's kind of our demographic right here. You're going to go into people. So we've got founder, CEO, owner, founder, CEO. I'm looking for basically decision makers. And then I've got it set to United States, 11 to 50 employees. I'm excluding staffing and recruiting because when I went through this list, it showed like talent management, which is not what we're going after. So I was excluding the ones that don't really make sense. And then I've got the term here, roofing. And so then we're going to grab this URL. We're going to head on over to Apify. And I've used a bunch of these, but this Code Pioneer one right here is the one that I like. So we're going to use that one. And I did need to upgrade to a paid plan to scrape more than 100. If you can't do a paid plan, I think it'll let you do like 200 leads a day or something like that. It's going to be a lot slower. But if you can spend the $40 to just get a paid account, it'll make your life easier and faster. So you'll just paste in that URL from Apollo. I just set it to the max. So this one came in just shy of 3,000. So I just set it to 3,000 on here. I named it and then run options. You want to make sure you choose no timeout or it will just die after like 5 minutes or something like that. 512 memory. And then basically you're just going to hit save and start. I already did it, so I'm going to show you the run. And what you'll get is right here, the results. It'll show you the usage. You can see I paid $3.18 for this. It took 17 minutes to do. So when we click on it, we'll get the output. And so what you'll want to do is grab the export. So you'll click export and you're going to go overview, CSV, all fields, and download. And that's going to get you the data set. And so what I've done is I've just brought that data set into a Google Sheets and I've named it. And then I've got quite a few sheets here, but I basically just split it into the first 500 or so just to get my messaging correct. I don't want to burn my lead list by sending potentially an offer or something that the roofers don't want. And I'm not going to know until I have the campaign running. So what you can do, the first 500 here, you'll export it out, and then we'll head into Instantly to actually set up our campaign. So that is step one, which we've got. And the second step is the campaign setup. So one of the things that I like doing with campaign setups is I like using ChatGPT for building out the campaigns, but it's fairly simple. Like, you're an expert in cold email for high ticket services. We're creating a cold email campaign with 3 messages in a sequence. Here's the offer, the audience, and then we've got some demographics, what they're spending. They want to incorporate what they want, AI, full growth system, found money, our pricing, keep it simple, fully managed, what questions. So then it asks kind of a little bit more detail here. And basically what we get are 3 kind of skeleton emails that we can use for our cold email campaign. So the first run, what it did was it had us, link to a calendar booking. I don't want to include any links in my cold emails because I don't want that to hurt the campaign. So I just replaced this with a call to action to reply. So our goal and kind of our sequence is going back to our model is we're going to send in the leads. We want them to reply yes for a diagnostics, like how much money are you leaving on the table with your leads? We can calculate that for you. And then we can show them, like, if let's say they're getting, 100 leads and they're only contacting or they're only getting 5 appointments from that, we know for a fact that's super low. If we could get them 20 appointments, we would 4x their actual, pipeline basically. And if they convert at 10%, then that's another 2 sales, which could be worth, $30K to them. So would you pay $10K to make 30? The answer is probably yes. So that's basically what we're doing with this offer. So we're going to be looking for replies. So inside of Instantly, we're going to go in and we're going to create a campaign. We're going to go into here and I'm going to just show you the campaign. I just launched it a few minutes ago and I'll show you the sequences that we're using. So the first one is you're leaving $50K a month on the table. So we're calling out who we're looking for. And I'm just going to show you the preview because I have spin tax on, so it's a little easier to read. Most roofers are, usually comes down to follow-up, not lead volume. And especially when it comes to nights and weekends, unqualified leads, old campaigns. So what we're doing with this copy is we're really calling out who we're looking for and what they're doing. So they're making $2 million a year. They're spending $10K a month on leads. We're telling them they might be leaving, $50 to $100K a month on the table. And we're kind of just pushing into the pain. So nights and weekends, unqualified leads, old campaigns, we plug right in. So we work with their CRM. And the other thing too is like, if they don't have a CRM, that probably means they're not qualified. So we can use this also for qualification. And then we provide a little case study here. So one home service business booked 9 new jobs and uncovered $50K in pipeline in just 3 weeks while cutting their ad spend in half. So that's like a nice little case study here. And then the call to action is, do you want us to calculate how much money you're leaving on the table? And so that's the first email. The second email is just a reply to the previous one. Like, you don't need more leads. You need to close more of the ones you already paid for. If you're sitting on, if you're doing 2 million plus, you're sitting on 50 to 100K a month in missed revenue because leads aren't followed up with. We fixed that. We call and text leads, we follow up, we book 40 plus premium estimates a month on your calendar, close just 30% of those. That's 180K a month in new revenue without hiring or spending a dollar more on ads. Very simple and straightforward. And then the last step is kind of like a scarcity that's real. So we're only working with 3 roofing companies per city, and we just opened up one of the slots in their city. So if we preview that right here, the reason is simple. It's a revenue acceleration. We partner with 1 roofer per area to avoid conflicts. Here's what you get. Want me to walk you through what this would look like? And that's kind of our final conclusion to the email sequence. So that was step 2, is get the campaign set up. So now we have the copywriting done. We have the sequence added into Instantly. A few things left. We need to actually get everything live. So we have the schedule. I am running Monday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I have it going 7 days because in my mind, I'm thinking like, nobody's sending on Sundays. So if I try sending on Sundays, maybe it'll work. Today is also Sunday, and I also didn't want to wait until tomorrow. So that's another reason. So I've just got these set up right here. So this is the schedule that I just decided to go with. You got to select which accounts you're using. And I've got stop sending emails on reply. I have that enabled. I do have open tracking enabled just because I'm curious. My daily limit right now is 200. I've been told that you can get away with 30 to 50 emails a day per mailbox. So I just set it slightly under that 50 mark. And then these are advanced options I don't really mess with. And then I just hit save. Once you do that, your campaign will be running. So if we take a quick look at the very beginning, we've got kind of some data slowly trickling in, but we'll have more understanding, probably in the next 24 to 48 hours. So that is the go live step. Now, where do we go from here? So here's the deal. Most people, they stop here. They show you how to set everything up. They show you the campaign. They show you what buttons to click, but then they don't tell you what actually happens as a result. So over the next few days, I'm going to be monitoring how this campaign goes. And then in a future video, I'm going to show you the responses that we get from the campaign, the onboarding, the sales process, when we land the first client, when we get that first 10K payment in. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to productize fulfillment. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we can set up this business so that it's 90% automated and it doesn't turn into this agency hamster wheel that everybody teaches you how to do. We're going to automate most of it. I am not going to be doing any appointment setting. I'm not even really going to be looking at this business in the day-to-day other than from a strategy and from a vision standpoint. So if that sounds interesting to you, be sure to subscribe. And if you liked this video, please like it. Leave a comment with any ideas that you have for the channel moving forward, and I'll see you next time.